The UFC is back in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, and a new Ultimate Fighter winner will be crowned. But before they make the walk to the octagon, it's scale tipping time. In the main event, Ultimate Fighter coach Roy Big Country Nelson takes on former NFL defensive tackle Matt MITRIONE. And in the co-main event, the Ultimate Fighter 16 winner will be crowned. Which welterweight is ready to take his place in UFC history? This is the UFC Weigh-In Show on Fuel TV, and it starts right now.
There are combatants on our main event tomorrow night on the Ultimate Fighter 16 finale. On the left, Big Country, Roy Nelson. On the right, former NFL defensive lineman, Matt MITRIONE. They will square off in our main event. That is out in Las Vegas. We're in Los Angeles, California. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Jay Glazer, joined by the People's Champ, Chael P. Sonnen, and the real champ, Benson Henderson. Again, a great weekend really here of fights here on FX and Fuel TV. Before we get to that, guys, Chael and I had the pleasure today of having 2 workouts with the champ right there, and I've never felt so inadequate in my entire life.
You know, the way I'll describe it, Jay, and I'll simply put it like this, I now know why they call him smooth.
Yeah. I was just trying to keep up with the old guys. You guys were the ones pushing the pace. I was just trying not to be embarrassed.
You know, we can hear you right now.
What pace is that?
You don't have to be on TV to know what your sick calls us old guys.
He's doing stuff from going, I didn't know the human body actually works like that. Nate Diaz knows how you work. Great fight there, obviously headlining our Fox main card on Saturday night. You got no marks on your face. That's probably your biggest statement you've made as a fighter, that fight.
Yeah, definitely. Being the main event on Fox, I definitely wanted to make a statement. I feel I did that. We hear a lot of criticism as fighters. We got to just brush off our shoulders, not let it affect us too much. That being said, I want to go out there and make an emphatic statement. I believe I did that. And to all you critics and whatnot, I hear you. I see you.
You answered them.
That's right. You know, find him on Twitter.
You answered him without a doubt. Now, again, we are having the Ultimate Fighter 16 finale. Also, later on, the Ultimate Fighter Smashes from Australia. You're just coming out of the Ultimate Fighter house where you're coaching against Johnny Bones Jones. Give us something from that experience that maybe we don't know.
Well, Guy, I will tell you without question, the narrative on this tournament will change due to season 17. Coach Jones and I did our level best. We had awesome talent. I had a crew I couldn't be more grateful for, but so did he. It's iron on iron, and you will be blown away with the talent.
You also liked him, didn't you?
I tell you what, I thought he did a very good job, and yeah, I did find him to be very pleasant.
All right, and don't forget, in less than an hour, we have 3 hours of prelim action, all leading up to the UFC on FX6, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, headlined by the Ultimate Fighter Smashes coaches George Sotiropoulos and Ross Pearson. Also a great middleweight contest in that. We know as well, immediately following that main card, come right back to Fuel TV for the post-fight show. And we'll do it all again tomorrow as well. Now, let's shift gears back to this Ultimate Fighter finale. We're going to start with you. Big Country, Roy Nelson. Don't let the shape fool you.
Yeah, definitely don't let the looks fool you. Don't judge a book by its cover. Roy Nelson, all his wins inside the UFC have been by knockout. On top of that, he has a great chin. What better combination for a fighter to have KO power in your hands and a great chin?
Probably the best chin in the sport. Also a legitimate Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. And he's going against a guy, Matt MITRIONE, former teammate of Fox's own Michael Strahan, but a good athlete.
Well, Benson, I will see your great power of Roy Nelson, and I will raise you great defense by Matt MITRIONE. Listen, this guy can slip, juke, jive, bob, weave as well as anybody in the heavyweight division. I challenge either one of you to tell me the last time you saw him with a bloody nose or a black eye. This guy can get out of the way, and defense is going to be the key tonight if he's going to survive those bombs.
And these guys will stand up and just bang with each other, but obviously Roy with his ground game, see how Matt tries to deal with that. I want to send it now over to Vegas. It's time to join the 4th member of our broadcast team. Her debut with us in the Fox family, veteran reporter Heidi Andrell. Heidi.
Thank you very much, Jay. Well, I had a chance to speak to heavyweights Roy Nelson and Matt Mitrione just moments ago. Roy Nelson tells us of his opponent that he expects a very athletic Mitrione, of course, because of his NFL experience. He also expects a much more well-rounded fighter due to his training at the Black Zillions. Now, Matt Mitrione, on the other hand, he said, well, Roy Nelson better expect a much different fighter than Shane Carwin. He said, I'm a southpaw, I'm much more athletic, and I've grown leaps and bounds since we were teammates on season 10 of The Ultimate Fighter. Matt Mitrione, he says, what I'm focused on is my music and making sure that Roy Nelson dances to it. Guys, we're looking forward to what could be a multi-dimensional clash of the heavyweights come Saturday night. Back to you.
These guys are getting ready to rock and roll tomorrow night. We will see Heidi during the live weigh-in show, along with Benson and Shell popping up from time to time with some interesting nuggets on all of our competitors. Now, as you know, we like to bring you into the equation. Time for our Twitter poll question of the night. Who do you think wins tomorrow night's main event? Hashtag Roy Nelson or hashtag Matt Mitrione. Folks, when we return, we're going to send it back to Las Vegas. It's time to weigh in. We got a great card for you tomorrow night. Big Country against Mitrione. Ricci against Colt Smith for the finals of The Ultimate Fighter. Varner, GUILLARD. Great card all around. Vegas, here we go.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the weigh-ins to the finals of The Ultimate Fighter. Ariane, Brittany, Dana White. Without him, this would not be possible. Joe Silva, matchmaker extraordinaire, and Bruce Buffer, the voice of the Octagon. Let's get things started, ladies and gentlemen. Starting off the Facebook prelims in the flyweight division. Timothy Elliott versus Jared PAPAZIAN. $126 for Mr. Elliott. And his opponent, Jared PAPAZIAN. 126. Timothy Elliott and Jared PAPAZIAN, ladies and gentlemen. Next up in the lightweight division, Mike Rio versus John Coulter. For Mr. COFER. And his opponent, Mike Rio.
I'm really excited to watch Mike Rio fight. He's a great wrestler. I wrestled with him in college. He uses his hands to set up his wrestling. His wrestling sets up his hands. It's going to be a good fight.
John Cofer and Mike Rio, ladies and gentlemen. Next up in the Bantamweight division, Ruben Duran versus Hugo Viana. And his opponent, Ruben Duran. Hugo Viana and Ruben Duran, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, the prelims live on Fuel TV, starting out in the welterweight division. TJ WALDBURGER versus Nick CATONE. For Nick CATONE. And his opponent, TJ WALDBURGER.
TJ WALDBURGER is a former college Division I wrestler. He's coming to us now by way of Team Alpha Male, most notoriety for Uriah Faber's gym. Listen, what TJ needs to do is he needs to stick to his guns, which is grappling, submissions, and wrestling. Sometimes he gets away from that and strikes. Like to see him go to his bread and butter.
$170. CATONE and TJ WALDBURGER, ladies and gentlemen. That's a hell of a fight. Next up in the lightweight division, PICHEL and RUSTAM. For RUSTAM. And his opponent, PICHEL. PICHEL, ladies and gentlemen. Next up in the Bantamweight division, Johnny Bedford versus Marcos Vinicius. And his opponent, Johnny Bedford.
You might remember Johnny Bedford from winning on the finale of season 14. That was December of 2011. He was set to fight immediately the following month, had 2 opponents back out, and then set to fight again in May, suffered an MCL injury. It's been over a year since he's been in the cage. We'll see if it's been worth the wait.
Marcos Vinicius and Johnny Bedford, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we got a fantastic fight in the welterweight division. Mike PYLE versus James Head. James Head and Mike Pyle, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to the Ultimate Fighter finale live on FX. We kick things off in the featherweight division. Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Jonathan Brookins.
Jonathan Brookins became a household name in the sport of MMA and in the UFC specifically due to his performance in the reality tournament, The Ultimate Fighter. He's had a tremendous run. He can use his hands, he can use his grappling. He needs to work on his defense, and I like to see him protect himself a little more. This is going to be a slugfest.
And his opponent, Dustin Poirier. For the diamond. Jonathan Brookins and Dustin Poirier, ladies and gentlemen, kicking things off on the main card in FX. Moving on to the lightweight division, it gets even better. Melvin Guillard versus Jamie Varner.
Jamie Varner is a very, very skilled MMA fighter. The biggest thing for Jamie is that he's comfortable. He's training again in the gym. He's happy. He's having a good time. He's always had the skill, but now he's back in the proper mindset to go out there in the octagon and let loose. Have fun.
Come on. Come on. Now you're close. 156.
156 for Mr. Varner. And his opponent, the young assassin, Melvin Guillard. For the young assassin. That's a fantastic fight, ladies and gentlemen. Jamie Varner and Melvin Guillard. Moving on to the heavyweight division, it gets even crazier. Pat Barry versus Shane Del Rosario. For Mr. Del Rosario. And his opponent, Pat H.D. Barry.
Pat Barry looking a little lighter at this weigh-in, all thanks to his teammates. Nate Marquardt with the clippers in hand, or the most ungentle barber, as Pat Barry called it. I asked if he was going to retaliate. He said, I'm not an instant returner. You steal my chicken wing today, your steering wheel goes missing in 6 months.
238.
238 for Mr. Barry.
After his first career loss in April of 2010, Mike Ricci actually quit the sport. He did nothing while living in his mother's basement during that time. He credits his return to the coaches at TriStar, and since returning, he's gone 7-1, including his wins on The Ultimate Fighter.
$171.
171. And his opponent, Colton Smith.
Colton Smith started wrestling at the age of 4. In fact, all of the men in his family wrestled and were members of the military. Though it wasn't just the men who were influential in MMA for Colton. His mom actually is the biggest MMA fan. She's been a fan since UFC 1.
Plenty of room. 170.
170 from Mr. Smith. The finals, ladies and gentlemen, the ultimate finale. Mike Ricci and Colton Smith. And finally, the main event of the evening in the heavyweight division. Roy Big Country Nelson versus Matt MITRIONE.
I like Matt MITRIONE. What I love about this entry into the competition is that he asked for it. He called the UFC, he said, I want this fight. He even went so far as to calling it a fun fight. I look forward to knowing what MITRIONE knows about Nelson that the rest of us haven't seen.
Nelson.
Roy Nelson is a guy who always brings it, always puts on a great show. All of his wins in the UFC have come by knockout. What more can you say about a guy who ends his fights?
Oh, you lost a little. 252.
252 for Big Country. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Matt MITRIONE and Roy Nelson. And if you're watching the weigh-ins on Fuel TV, don't change the channel. There's plenty more coverage to come with Jay Glazer, Chael Sonnen, Benson Henderson, and Heidi Androl. So let's send it back to Los Angeles, California with more.